Adam in New York City, the great WABC, has something very interesting to say. Assuming Adam isn't a phony caller like what's-her-face was, Katie, in New York before. How are you, Adam?
I'm doing well. Thanks for taking my call. I'm a long-time listener for a few years. Appreciate everything you do for all of us out here, us middle-class regular Joes.
Thank you, sir.
Anyway, I'm a manager in a property management company in New York City, and this morning, or late morning, all of a sudden we had 3 people claiming to be federal agents of the EPA, the Environmental Protection Agency, which is, I know, to be one of your favorites, demanding access to our office to thoroughly inspect and audit all of our files. And
for what?
The secretaries up front asked, do you have a appointment? They said, no, we don't need one. Well, that was at that point when they called me out as the manager and said, Adam, can you speak to them? So I came out and said, how can I help you? They said, we require access to your files. I said, for what? Well, under the lead paint prevention, some of that, the Title 10, Title X, certain landlords are required to disclose the knowledge or lack of knowledge of lead paint in properties that they rent if the properties are a certain age. I believe it's under 1978 they were constructed.
Right.
And so basically you're required to disclose that to potential tenants if you know or don't know of lead paint, but you have to disclose. And
did they have a subpoena?
Absolutely not. And so I said to them, do you have an appointment? And they said, no, we don't need one. And I said, so you're demanding access to my office to inspect my private files, is that correct? They said, that's correct. And I said, what about my right to my private property? What about my right to due process? And who are you? I haven't even seen your credentials yet. Well, we demand access. And at that point, she began to almost interrogate me to the extent that I would call it bullying me and trying to frighten me into giving her access to my office and to inspect all of my files. We have roughly 1,500 units under rental. All these files have tenants' personal bank information, social security numbers. I mean, everything that we do to, ensure creditworthiness of a prospective tenant. Which, of course, we take their privacy very seriously. And these 3 people demanded access. And then when I refused, and I politely refused, and I said, I'm happy to cooperate with you anyway, but you need to make an appointment. And I said, it's not unlike, for example, if the state unemployment insurance fund wants to audit my files, they make an appointment, and we're ready for them. Not because I have anything to hide, but because there's a due process here. And she insisted in demanding access, to which I refused. And then she said, well, I'm going to have a federal attorney contact you to inform you and educate you on what the law requires. I said, I don't care what you tell me, but the law gives me certain rights as a citizen to private property.
Well, the Constitution gives you certain rights that trump this law, even if, I'm almost certain that they can't just come in and start demanding all your records without more.
I thought so too, which was why I politely refused. And I spoke to my coworkers after, and I await now some sort of threatening message from some federal attorney out somewhere. And mind you, after I refused access to my office, she went down to one of my buildings where we had some of our maintenance men working to inspect what they were doing. Again, without any prior notification, without any...
Did they have any weapons, did you notice? Were they carrying a pistol, did you notice?
I did not notice that. I don't believe they were armed.
Did they show their credentials when you said, you have to tell me who you are? They didn't show you the credentials?
Negative.
Well, that's basic law enforcement stuff. Now, I don't know who these bureaucrats are, but...
They were not law enforcement. They were precisely that. They were bureaucrats and nothing more.
If the U.S. Attorney's Office contacts you, you just say, look, they didn't show their credentials. I don't know who they are. And I can't just turn all my files over to officials without more. Is there a subpoena? Do you have a warrant? Is there some kind of a court action here? Is there some, what is this? Exactly.
Yeah, and there was a lot of
But you see, attitude because you're the subject and they're the sovereign, and that's the way you're treated, and it's outrageous. And I'm going to tell you something. This is why we get these morons who call here and elsewhere who say fairness, fairness, fairness. All they're trying to do is their job. This is abuse.
It was. I spoke with my coworkers afterwards, and I said to them, I said, what is left of our liberty as private citizens if people can just show up in my office and demand access to all my files?
And all your files with all that private information that individuals give you when they're leasing a property, their income, some bank and income statements, you're right, their Social Security number, their marital status, and on and on and on are in those forms, aren't they?
That's absolutely correct. And I was immediately said I really would love to get Mr. Levin's thoughts on this matter because, working in New York City can be crazy enough in terms of the terrible, terrible breach of private property in terms of rent stabilization laws and whatnot. That's a whole different discussion. So we're kind of used to it over here. But this struck me as a new level.
I don't know. I don't know how you can run a pizzeria in New York anymore with all the rules in place either, for that matter.
But that's a different. That's a whole new.
All right, Adam. Well, listen, that was very edifying. I'm glad you called. And if anything else happens, will you call again and let us know?
I certainly will.
All right, Adam. Good luck to you, man.
Thank you, sir.
Take care.
Thank you.
There you are, running your business, minding your own business. People show up from the federal government and start pushing you around. You haven't even done anything. They don't have their proper papers. They're not showing their ID. I've said many times, folks, and I'll repeat it again just to underscore it. We are a society with classes now. With the people who work in the private sector and with the people who work for the government. And we in the private sector, we are second-class citizens. It is we who are supposed to always give more, and in the public sector, they take more. It is we who are supposed to have skin in the game, quote-unquote, in the public sector. They don't give a damn about skin in the game. They are the game. They run the game. We are the second-class citizens. And we have to stop being bought off or convinced to self-surrender our liberties and our private property rights to these people. Oh, he just wants to be fair. Oh, they just want to help this. Oh, they just want to... I mean, when does it end? Again, I've said many times, can we see this final design of this society that Obama and the rest of them want to impose on us? Where do we go to find this? Where's their Constitution in the drawer that they're waiting to show us? Exactly what does this Ameritopia look like when it's all said and done? I'll tell you what it looks like. Federal officials walking onto your farm, pushing you around. Federal officials walking into a pizzeria or a dry cleaner, pushing you around. Federal officials walking onto a car lot and dealership, pushing you around. Federal officials walking in the hospitals and doctors' offices, pushing you around. I explained this earlier. This isn't about the oil industry or the healthcare industry or the food industry and on and on. It's about you. When these massive international corporations can no longer fight off big government, you think you're going to be able to? No. No. Obama, I'm about fairness. No, he's not. He's about coercion. He's not about fairness. Is it fair to seize something that somebody else has earned and give it to somebody else? Is it? Is it fair to keep demanding more and more money from a private citizen that gets washed through a government that is bloated and wasteful and full of fraud and cronyism? Is that fair? Is it fair for Obama to vacation wherever he wants on our dime? To travel all he wants on our dime? Well, Mark, all presidents do it. Not like him. Not to excess like him. Is it fair for him to play 80 rounds of golf with nary a worry on his mind? Is it fair for him to be able to send his children to private school while he supports a massive union that opposes all forms of competition with public education? Is that fair? Fairness? Like compassion? You got to be kidding me. Look at your country, ladies and gentlemen. Look at your fellow citizens. Look at the stress on their face. Listen to their frustrations. Look at their anxiety one day to the next, whether they're going to get to keep what they've earned. And many of you are in that position. Is that fair? Is that compassion? Is that paradise? What's it going to take to dismiss the bullcrap that we hear from this guy and the rest of them? This isn't about fairness, it's about power. And concentrating power. And kicking you around and pushing you around and telling you how you're going to live. What kind of car you're going to drive. Where you're going to live. What you're going to eat. What your kids are going to learn. We're already there. What kind of light bulb you can have, or toaster, or dishwasher, or washing machine, or dryer. What kind of automobile you're going to get to drive. They're here. It's here. It's Ameritopia. You're living it. The system is broken. It's broken. It's infuriating. Pay your taxes. Pay your taxes. Pay more than you owe. Knock on the door. We're from the EPA. We want to see how you're managing your rental space. This, that, and the other statute was passed on 1978 lead paint. Excuse me? We want your files. I can't just turn over people's information to all these people leasing. They don't know. Do you know who we are? No, I don't. You're going to hear from the U.S. Attorney's Office. Oh, okay. This is what we've become. Look at this. Oh, you restaurants out there, you have to offer smaller portions. Yes. What are you talking about? That's like ripping people off. They pay all this money. We want to give them bigger portions. No, smaller portions. Who are you with? Oh, the First Ladies Committee with the CDC, the Department of Agriculture, the XYZ, and the ABC. You've got to offer smaller amounts. Oh, and by the way, no salt, no sugar, no trans fats. Well, what are you talking about? It doesn't matter. We're ordering you to change this. Who is it? We're with the Justice Department. Well, we're just a little hotel here. We notice you don't have one of those special devices for the handicap around your pool. No, I have staff. They assist all the time with people who need help getting in and out. Did you not read Regulation XYZ 123478BC? No, what is it? You have to put a permanent lift in place. Well, that's $10,000. I can't have... Did we tell you we're with the Justice Department? Yes? You need a permanent lift here. We don't care how you help people. These are orders. You're going to follow them. Yes? We're with the EPA. Oh. We noticed your farm. You have a tractor? Yes, most farms do. You're tilling your soil? Yes, this is what we call tilling soil. Well, you're kicking up a lot of dust. Well, yes, when you turn the dirt over, it creates dust. Well, we're working on a proposed regulation. We think you have too much dust. Too much dust? Yes, dust. It gets in the air. Then we have dusty air. Well, what am I supposed to do about it? Not have dusty air. Well, I can't do that. Well, you better, because we say so. And the knocks on the door just keep coming, ladies and gentlemen. Hello. We're with Noah. Noah? Is Noah's Ark? No, we're with Noah. And we noticed the commercial fishing you're doing here. We think you're over your quota. What quota? Well, you're over your quota. We don't want you fishing this season. Well, if I don't fish this season, I don't eat, neither do any of my crew. Did I tell you I'm with Noah? Yes, you did. All the little knocks on the door. Fairness and compassion. That's right, equality. Redistribution of wealth. Maybe they'll knock on your door, one of these agencies, 2 or 3 agents. They want to know about your house and your car and your food and your fuel consumption and the paint on your walls and the light bulbs in your sockets. You know what fairness equals? This. The knock on the door.